Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show. And today we're talking about the Switch 2 because, in light of Nintendo's greed, in light of Nintendo's ridiculous pricing, in light of Nintendo's thought process that we'll just pay for any fucking thing they put in front of us, no matter the price, um, considering the landscape that is today, in terms of general economics and just how people are feeling. Um, this may sound harsh, but I hope the Switch 2 fails. I hope it fails like the 3DS did, or worst case scenario, I hope it fails like the Wii U. Fuck 'em. I don't care. Because these companies, unfortunately, that's the only thing they wake up to. Some companies don't recover from that kind of wake up call, right? But Nintendo doesn't realize that the landscape has in fact changed from the Switch one. The landscape in general has changed when it comes to gaming handhelds. The Switch was pretty much the first of its kind in terms of a more premium handheld device. All right, before the Switch, I remember PlayStation console gremlins making excuses for Vita and why it failed. They're like, "Oh, nobody wants handhelds anymore. It's all about mobile. It's all about mobile." Yeah, that's why the Vita failed because there's no room in the market for a handheld device. Just for the handheld market to explode like it never has before because of the Switch. A reawakening, if you will. But the reality is now, years after the Switch's release, now going into the Switch 2, there are tons of premium handheld competitors out there. All right, from the half dozen PC handhelds that do a lot more interesting things, that are open platforms that you can do whatever you want with them, to premium handheld emulators. Some of them come prepackaged with over 40,000 games, and more on the way. Xbox is setting up to release their gaming handheld in the near future, and while PlayStation has a garbage handheld device that isn't even self-sufficient, well, there's rumors that even they are planning their own handheld release. This is an entirely different landscape from when the Switch released. It's something that Nintendo hasn't accounted for, in my opinion, at all. And I just don't think people need a Switch 2 like they needed the Switch 1. I think a big factor in why the Switch 1 was a highly desired device is just the simple reality that almost nobody bought a Wii U. Me and and two of my friends bought a Wii U, and that was really late in its life cycle. I didn't buy a Wii U until Mario Kart 8 came out, and I was really looking forward to Smash Bros as well. And that's pretty much, me. I think I was the first of my friends to buy one. I don't know if Blake bought one before me. Probably did. He probably was the first to buy one. I was probably the second, and Side Strike was probably the third. But yeah, Ozzy never bought a Wii U despite being a Mario pipe smoker in his own right. Um, yeah, almost nobody bought a Wii U besides a very select handful of people in the gaming landscape. And that led to the Switch just being this highly desired device because most most console gamers went an entire generation not experiencing any Mario unless it was on the 3DS, which, yeah, it's not that to me, that just wasn't a great wholehearted experience in my personal opinion. So, that was a big deal. That was why everyone wanted to run out and get a Switch when it, initially came out, and why it led the pack in being such a highly desired device. Faults and all, because the Switch wasn't perfect by any means, but people missed out on Nintendo for years. And this is why Nintendo ported almost all of their good Wii U games to Switch because nobody got to play the fucking games. So that's when the games finally actually sold, and they made Series bank. But that was a big deal. Nowadays, and another thing too, the Switch. I mean, everyone's backlog is at peak now. Everyone's back, dude. I have a backlog. I couldn't say this, before the PS4 and whatnot. I have a backlog now that can last me the rest of my life, especially on the Switch. You see these little stack of games here? That's like a third of my physical Switch media. I have like two other stacks over there. I lent my friend a nice stack of games for her to try out on a Switch that I lent her because I own three fucking Switches, right? I got some Switch games downstairs in my game room. I that's just physical Switch games. I didn't cheap out on digital purchases either. My backlog just on the Switch alone could last me for the rest of my fucking life, brother. It wasn't like that before the Switch. It wasn't like that at all. Nobody had games because they didn't buy a Wii U to begin with, so there was no games. They didn't have an insane backlog like people do now. You know, I wholeheartedly do not think that people that are on the Switch, that still value the Switch, that still play their Switch, I do not think that these hardcore Switch gamers are going to want to rush out and get a Switch 2 because they're sitting on a plethora of games that'll last them who knows how long. And the Switch the Switch had this huge group of people that just love buying physical media for the Switch. And with this whole keycard shit, now some of the games will be keycards, some of them won't. I think that subsection of hardcore Switch gamers that love physical media collecting, I think that they don't care as much. I definitely don't care as much. They were, when it came to Nintendo's actual releases, like their, first party releases, I would always buy those games physically. That was like the must. The value of games now being on keycard is significantly going to drop. I hope that these games that are keycard at least will drop in price over time because there is no real value there. Not like it is with Switch games, man. It's sad to say, but everyone has peak backlogs now. People have an insane amount of games that they still haven't even played yet. It's not like how it was prior to the Switch release. So I don't think that most people and you're gonna have the system sell out. You know what I mean? That's just the people that can't help themselves, and I'm usually one of those people. I usually can't help myself. I gotta have it day one. I'm that type of person. I usually be on that type of time. I was like that with the PS4. I was like that with the Switch. I was like that with the PS5. Once I was able to start making my own money, I want that shit right the fuck now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just how it was. But I also want to bring up the 3DS specifically because the 3DS, I mean, the DS was an insanely successful device. I wasn't really into the DS personally. I tried Nintendogs. I didn't like the dual screen thing. I thought it was kind of whack. Funny enough, the only place I actually liked the dual screen was on the Wii U. Yeah, I'm crazy. I don't know, but let's get into this 3DS because the Nintendo 3DS released February 26th of 2011. And pretty much nobody wanted that shit. I ended up getting a 3DS. It was gifted to me by my parents when I graduated from high school. No, wait. I think so. It's been so long, I can't remember. But yeah, when I graduated, I got a 3DS. So it was around June-ish. And yeah, they paid full price for it. Because at that time, they didn't know any better. It's just, she wants a 3DS. Get her 3DS. Oh, there's no fucking games that I want to play. I was playing Jaws 3D. And I bought Super, what was it? Super Street Fighter 4, I think, or something. And it was not my bag. But either way, it was interesting. I like the design overall. But this came out February 26, 2011. I was one of the few people that had it. I didn't know anybody else that had it. But just 6 months later, all right, July 28, 2011, launch lineup lacked any flagship Nintendo franchises. In response, Nintendo announced a major price cut, reducing the console's price by nearly a third. All right, over 30 fucking %, from $250 to $170. And make no mistake about it, they're saying the launch lineup lacked any flagship Nintendo franchises. It did, but at the end of the day, nobody fucking wanted it. If you could just, I think if people hold out, this could happen again. I mean, I don't think it'll necessarily they don't need to lower the system price, in my personal opinion. Just lower the price of these games, bro. It's fucking ridiculous. It's completely unreasonable. There's a severe lack of value, especially we're talking about game key cards. But you're raising the price of games to a new level that is has everyone saying, well, front loading the system we don't necessarily mind in terms of price, right? But the price of these games, it's front loading every fucking thing at every turn. There's a lot of people out here that do not see the value They don't see the value in the system. Because not only are they paying the front-loaded price of the system, but they're also paying a super premium price for the games. And I think that, I'm not getting it. I don't think any of my friends are getting it at this point. At first, we were super excited, but there's just no value there. And it's going to be hilarious because people always say, oh, you're just broke, you're just broke, you're just broke. You can think that if you want to. My next video is gonna make you guys look like the brokies, but for all the haters out there that want to make excuses for Nintendo's garbage business practices. But if you guys think that this is it, that this is the only thing Nintendo is going to present to us, I think you have to open your fucking eyes and realize that Nintendo Switch Online is going to also go up in price too. Just look at PlayStation right now. PS Plus is rising in cost in many countries now. It hasn't hit the US, but it just hit Canada. It just hit a handful of other countries as well. These things are going to go up in price because, hey, man, the corporation don't want to suffer, but just put the cost on the people who are already suffering. And don't get me wrong, I'm not personally suffering, but I'd rather put my money that I do have savings of towards better things. And I just don't think the Switch 2 has the value to justify me going out of my way for it. So, I hope, ideally, the Switch 2 has a 3DS moment. Where they realize, yeah, we overcharged. People don't see the value in this, even if we think that they should. They at the end of the day, they thought that, they're just going to pay whatever. They don't give a fuck. They'll be eating out of our hands one way or another. I don't think that's going to be the case. There's a lot of cases of buyer's remorse out here. People may not see it, but there is definitely a lot of cases of buyer's remorse before the system even releases. Imagine that shit. This dude's post here, Lance, went viral. He said, canceled my Switch 2 and Pro Controller pre-order. It's just too expensive for a console with such a penny-pinching experience. Games on cheap-ass Game Key cartridges, Switch 2 edition remasters that don't include DLC, pay a monthly fee to use the chat features. But the big thing is just there's no way I'm playing any of the launch day games. Like, can you imagine me playing Mario Kart or Donkey Kong? I have so many other amazing games to play. I'll get one once there's games I want to play on it. He said it pissed me off seeing so many huge YouTubers criticizing all this cheap-ass dog shit Nintendo is doing while charging insane prices, then just saying they could do it because they know they could get away with it. Yeah, not if we don't buy the stupid fucking thing, they can. And dude, my sentiments exactly. There's so many good games out there that are either on the Switch 1. Half the games that I want are coming to the Switch 1 as well. I won't be playing them because I don't play on Switch anymore. That's just the sad reality of it, right? But half of the games that I personally want are still coming to the Switch 1. Dude, I'm dealing with, guys, it's crazy to think. I'm dealing with the reality that next week, if it's true that Elder Scrolls Oblivion is coming out next week, I have 2 RPGs coming out the same week. 2 of my most highly anticipated video games being Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remaster and Expedition 33. Those games are I know for a fact, obviously Elder Scrolls Oblivion is a huge RPG. But Expedition 33 is looking like a pretty big ass RPG in its own right too. While I think there's a lot of dog shit coming out that gets overly talked about, Ass Creed, Dragon Age, there's a lot of garbage that definitely gets a lot of attention for no real reason because it's crap. There's also really good games out here. I've been playing Schedule 1, $20 video game that is like almost infinite fun factor to it. I just don't think the landscape currently is going to make as many people cave as Nintendo thinks. And shout out to Lance for saying it how it is, man. Watching all these Nintendo YouTubers just, oh, Nintendo can charge these prices because they can get away with it. Nah, like, shut up, bitch. But I'm willing to wait and see what happens because I really feel like Lance, there's a lot of people already feeling pre-orders remorse. And a lot of people that just saying, fuck it, I ain't buying it. Like, what kind of gaming experience when you just gotta be every every wall is paywalled. You know, like, it's so annoying, so obnoxious. I think it's lame as fuck. But, stay tuned, guys. My next video is definitely gonna make the whole, "You're just broke" crowd, upset, and y'all can kiss my ass. But, yeah, if you can like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter at Mario Kart. Yeah, yeah, at Mario Kart. If you like to continue the conversation, consider becoming a channel member. Get you instant access to the Discord. Get you dope ass emails for a Thursday night live stream. And share this video out, man. Share this video out. Overall, yes, I hope the Switch 2 fails. I hope it does. I hope more than likely it'll be like a 3DS failure. But if Nintendo doesn't want to listen, if Nintendo wants to be ignorant, fuck them. I hope the Switch 2 fails just like the fucking Wii U did. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.